Welcome back to the Hollywood Ledger TV for an urgent and critical deep dive into the biggest breaking news in Hollywood today, the on-set injury of cinema icon Tom Cruise. This is not a minor sprain. Initial reports suggest a significant physical setback sustained during a complicated, high-risk stunt for the next installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. The fact that the 63-year-old actor was rushed to the hospital immediately casts a profound shadow over the production and, more importantly, raises serious questions about the sustainability and ethics of his celebrated stunt philosophy. For decades, Tom Cruise has built his monumental brand on an absolute, non-negotiable commitment to performing his own, often death-defying stunts. This extreme commitment is arguably his most powerful marketing tool, a differentiator that sets him apart from virtually every other actor currently working in the world. But today's incident forces us to confront a vital question. At what point does dedication cross the line into an unsustainable personal and financial risk? Can a star of his age and stature continue to physically defy the inevitable constraints of the human body without eventually paying a massive, career-altering price? This is not the first time Cruise has been injured. We must recall the famous incident during the filming of Mission Impossible Fallout, where he fractured his ankle during a jump between buildings, leading to months of production delay and costing the studio millions. Yet even that near miss failed to deter him. This latest injury, however, feels qualitatively different. At 63, recovery times are longer, the body is less resilient, and the stakes for the continuity of a multi-billion-dollar franchise are higher than ever. We must dissect the fine line he walks between audience demand for authenticity and the cold, hard reality of human fragility. Let's shift our focus to the immense financial and insurance burden this squarely places on Paramount Pictures and the film's production company. Cruise's injury will immediately halt a multi-million-dollar production. This forces producers, insurers, and the entire logistical team to reassess the financial viability of his signature stunt approach. The cost of just a few weeks' delay, which involves paying hundreds of crew members, maintaining complex sets, and rescheduling talent, can easily soar into the tens of millions of dollars. This financial drain far outweighs the perceived marketing value of the "he does his own stunts" tagline. Insurance companies who underwrite these massive productions must be placing intense pressure on the studio to enforce safer boundaries, potentially challenging Cruise's creative control over the stunt process for the first time in his career. Furthermore, this incident throws a harsh spotlight on the psychological and industry pressure that compels him to continue. Is this purely ego, a personal necessity for the performance, or is it an unspoken expectation from a demanding audience that has been conditioned to expect the physically impossible from him? The dilemma is paradoxical. The authenticity that makes the Mission Impossible movies global successes is the same factor that now perpetually threatens to derail the franchise and potentially end the star's career. We also have to consider the long-term impact on the action genre as a whole. When stars like Harrison Ford or Arnold Schwarzenegger aged, their roles adapted, relying more on dramatic weight and tactical action than sheer athleticism. Cruise is attempting to rewrite the rules entirely. His injury will likely ignite widespread calls among industry guilds and unions for a mandatory review of stunt safety protocols, particularly for actors over the age of 50. This injury is not just a personal setback. It's a critical stress test for Hollywood's safety standards. The future of the entire Mission Impossible franchise now hangs perilously in the balance. If he is forced to recover for months, the release schedule is compromised. More importantly, if he returns to set,
Will he or the studio ever allow him to attempt a stunt of this magnitude again? If the final stunts are noticeably scaled back, will the audience feel the difference? This latest injury is the single most defining, career-threatening challenge to his philosophy since he first started leaping across rooftops 30 years ago. The answer to whether he can continue to lead this genre relies entirely on the successful outcome of his medical recovery and the ensuing negotiations with his studio partners. We will track every development with the analysis this story demands.